So where are all my jumping into conclusion athletes? This one is for you. Come closer. How many gold medals do you have hanging on the wall? I'm sure if they gave Olympic gold medals for all the times we've jumped into the wrong conclusion, most of us will not have spaces on the walls to hang them because it's like, we have jumped. Before they even blow the whistle, we've already jumped into conclusion. But today is not a day to judge our bad character. So before we get into class, hey vibers, welcome to episode 12 of My Two Cents on Vibing with Stacia. I remain your host, Stacia, and if you're new here, you're highly welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. We do have a tradition where we subscribe, turn on the notification, and stay tuned for posts like this every week. And to the OGs who know the drill, thank you for your immeasurable support. You know I don't take this for granted anytime, any day. So let's get into it. How many times have you jumped into the wrong conclusion based off your assumptions? Not facts, but the stories you've made up in your head, and then you've arrived at a conclusion that felt perfect in your head or a befitting end for your made up story. Remember last week we spoke about overthinking, yeah, that our brains work actively, and it's true. So assumption is you actually filling in the gaps with your mind made up stories or facts that are unreal or untrue. Something happened, there is a fact, you don't know why it happened, but then your brain just goes on a frolic of its own and fills in the gap. Oh, it's because of this, it's because of this, it's because of this, and before you know, you have a perfect conclusion in your head that is totally different from what reality is. Your conclusion is a conclusion, however it's flawed because your thought process was actually flawed. Now let me paint a perfect scenario, right? You're in a relationship with this very beautiful, attractive woman, and relationship is going well, so far so good, everything is nice, you both love each other. And then one day she comes back from work, she's had dinner with you, you've had your me time, you guys have caught up with all the things happening in your life, and she scoots over to the couch in the parlor, just the small one, the cozy one, there with a blanket and her phone, and she's laughing away, and you're thinking, why is my babe laughing like in the corner? Now, it happened the first day. The second day, same thing happened. You guys have had your time, she's back from work, you've gisted, everything, and she's gone to that couch again, and she's laughing away, just looking at her phone and chatting away, and you're thinking, what's happening? What's this new behavior? Now, any reasonable person will ask questions. What is happening? Right? And any reasonable partner will give the reason why they are laughing. But then this is where it gets kind of complicated. Your method of asking. It's not the asking the question, because people will naturally volunteer answers if asked right, but it's the way you ask the question. So you come in, hey girlfriend, you've been laughing every time when you come back from work. What is making you laugh? Fill me in. And she will naturally fill you in. But you decided, give me your phone. You're cheating on me. Give me your phone. And she goes, excuse you, I'm not giving you any phone. You're not giving me a day. Oh, it is because of that man. It is because of Shay is the one that dropped you off yesterday. I saw the way you're looking at him. It is because of that man. You're beginning to cheat on me with somebody else. No problem. Now you see, these are two different approaches of asking. The first one will easily get you all the answers and you will become part of the team. The second one will create a distance. Now, because you've had this altercation, she refused to give you the phone, and you're thinking, you're in your head already, she's always going to the corner to chat and laugh away. Right? You don't know why she's laughing, but in your head, your brain has filled in the gaps with she is cheating. And just recently, a colleague dropped her off, so obviously it is with that guy that dropped her off. So now they have a thing on the side. you've started making these assumptions in your head, and you've arrived at the conclusion that your babe is cheating on you. Now you're having trust issues. Whether she tells you anything now, you don't believe it. You're always doubting. You're fostering all that anger and hate. The conclusion you've arrived at has cost you a behavioral change. So sometimes it's not even that the conclusion is wrong, it's the outcome of the conclusion. Because right now, you don't trust your babe, you're always angry, any little thing she does pisses you off. The relationship is now shaking. But let's go to the guy that asked right. Now the babe fills him in. Oh, baby, is this group chat we created though? We've been bad mouthing my boss and everybody's just so funny. I don't want to be laughing close to you because I don't want to disrupt your sleep. That was the reason. And he's like, let me see it. Right? And she shows him the chat and both of them are laughing. So now, yes, there was something, there was a fact. Babe is always laughing in the corner. He asks the right question, he asks rightly, he gets the right information. This is why she is laughing. He becomes part of it. The other guy, he did not ask right, he did not get the right information, he filled in the gaps with his own assumption, arrived at the wrong conclusion. Relationship is shaky. So you see, two different scenarios, things that could have been avoided, but they weren't because you began to assume and your assumption led you to the wrong conclusion. You could have just asked, or you could have asked nicely, and it wouldn't have gotten to that. So it's like that, not just with a relationship. Most times we assume things out of one, pride. The pride to ask the right questions, or the pride to find answers to the things we don't know. We don't want to seem like we are not knowledgeable, so we don't ask the questions, we just assume, and then we get into trouble. Right? Two, out of fear. So fear of the unknown, fear of betrayal, fear of whatever. Probably the second guy who concluded that the babe was cheating, he's been cheated on before. It follows like same pattern. Or the first girl was also laughing away, she started laughing secretly at her phone, so he just assumed this is the same thing that is going to happen again. This one is obviously cheating. So fear from betrayal, from hurt, from anything can make us just start making assumptions in our head, right? Sometimes also it could be fear from actually confronting the truth. So we don't want to have those difficult conversations and find the truth, so we just assume, fill in the gaps with whatever we like, with things that are not actually facts and different from reality. Thirdly, our brain don't want to go down through the stress of investigating and thinking, so you just make up the story quickly in your head because you don't have the time to actually think or to put bits together to actually find the truth. We sometimes just look at people and think, oh, this one will not want to talk to me because she feels I'm not in her league. Whereas this person is also looking at you and thinking, I want to talk to this person, but it doesn't feel like she will respond back to me if I talk to her. This is a true story that happened last Sunday for me. There's this lady in church that I always admire. I love the way she dresses to church. She always looks beautiful. And I've always wanted to like just let her know that I love the way she dressed. But it just felt like, she's in her own world. And then last Sunday, she wore this lovely dress that I really liked. So we kind of like met at the exit and I was like, hi, your dress is so lovely. I love it. And I've always wanted to tell you, I love the way you dress to church. You always look beautiful. And she was like, oh my God, thank you. I love the way you dress too. I've always wanted to talk to you. I've been saying, when will I talk to this lady? When will I talk to this lady? But I never get the chance to talk to you. I'm like, are you serious? You always wanted to talk to me. I was like, same. She was like, yes. I've always wanted to be friends with you. Can I get your number? I was like, sure. So you see, in my head, I was just assuming, well, she might not really like just talk to me, or she might not be the person. I was just thinking, she might just give me the backhand, those kind of persons. But she's not. She's very lovely. This is another true story. So at the gym one day, there was this guy that I saw just walking around in the gym, and he had black shades and a face cap. And then I'm thinking, why are you wearing shades and face cap in the gym? Like, why? And you're just showing yourself up and down. Because I felt he had like Well, I assumed he had the pompous air around him, the way he was carrying himself, and I was like, what is this one feeling like in the gym? It's not a fashion show. So I even called my friend like after my gym that day. I was like, there's this guy I saw in the gym that just wore face cap. We gossiped the guy. I just wore face cap and be walking up and down. I don't know what he's feeling like. It's not like he's even. So the next morning, I stepped out to get something from a convenience store close to me, and as I was coming back home, I saw the same guy leaving my building. He was going to the gym. I didn't go to the gym that morning. He was going to the gym. And then I noticed the glasses he had on. They were not black shades like I assumed previously. They were actually those Blu-ray glasses, the one for the screens and the sun. Is it photochromic? Yeah, that one. That was what he had on, and with the face cap. So we just said like hi, hi, and we passed. So the next day we now met at the gym, and then after our session, so he was like, "Can I wait up for him so we'll go home together since we actually live in the same place?" I was like, "Okay, fine." And we started working and talking, and I was like, "Oh my god." The image I had of this guy in my head, totally different from who he is in reality. Based off of my image and my assumption, I would literally not talk to this guy or anything. I don't even think we'll be friends because he doesn't fit the narrative of the kind of people that I would want to be friends with, because I thought he just had this pompous air around him, but it was nothing like that. And I even asked him, "Oh, do you know the impression I had of you the first time I saw you?" I told him how I thought he was pompous with the glasses and everything, and he laughed. And it was like, "Oh no, these are like Blu-ray glasses." And the reason he wore the face cap was he's not had a haircut yet, so his hair was really rough, and he just thought, okay, he will cover it at the gym. So sometimes our mind, our imagination tell us the wrong facts, whereas if you ask or you dig deeper, you will find out that you are just wrong. Your brain is just filling in the gaps with whatever feels safe or feels perfect to you for whatever reason. And it happens like that with everybody, with anything. The assumptions you have, they are always wrong. You might think, oh, your colleagues at work don't like you, they don't go out with you, they don't want to hang out with you. They're also thinking you probably don't like them too, and maybe they're also scared. So both of you might just be there assuming, but if one person just takes the bold step to actually ask the question, oh, hi, would you like to go out for a drink with us? And you see that person saying, yes, I thought you would never ask. I've always wanted to go out on a drink with you guys, but I was just so scared. So people always make up these assumptions in their head, sometimes to protect themselves. Because if you assume the worst, then if the worst happens, you are fine. Right? So if you assume, okay, the worst about it, but the truth is, once you assume that worst, and you arrive at the wrong conclusion, it shapes your action. Say, for instance, your colleagues now that actually probably want to talk to you, but maybe they're also scared or just don't know how to go about it with you, and you also just think they don't like you for whatever reason. You've arrived at that conclusion. It means you won't care about your colleagues, whatever they do, because you're going to be like, I don't give. They don't care about me, so why should I care about them? So it affects your decision making when it comes to them. You just see them as anything because, well, they don't, you think they don't love you, whereas they actually do, but somebody just have to reach out first. Or you're assuming you're not doing enough for someone, whereas the little you think, what you're thinking is not enough, is what this person is holding on to as their lifeline. Because of that little you've given them, that is so big in their own eyes, but in your own head you're just feeling, oh, it's so little. You've assumed it's not enough. I'm not here to judge us for all the times we've had negative assumptions and arrive at a wrong conclusion, but what I'm really concerned is the action that stems out from that conclusion, because whatever you've arrived at as a conclusion means it's what you have decided is your own truth, and it might not be the reality, but that is what you feel is real to you. And where it is dangerous is because you feel it is so real to you, you're wronging someone else. You are distorting the truth, and it just becomes dangerous for everybody. Now, remember the first scenario that I painted about the relationship couple, the one thinking his babe is already cheating on him. Now he has trust issues. And the thing with trust is, once in his head he's believed that she's cheating, he's going to believe the trust is broken. And once trust is broken, it cannot be fixed. So even if she has not cheated on him, she's not done anything wrong, he's concluded his own reality, his own version is she is cheating, and the trust is destroyed. So even when it becomes apparent that she wasn't, sometimes you can't come back from it. The actions that come after you've jumped into that conclusion, you can't undo them. And that's why it is dangerous to make assumptions in your head and arrive at a conclusion based off of that assumption. So the assignment I want us to go into this week is to stop assuming. If you don't know the facts, ask questions, find it out, right? If you are not certain, ask questions, don't assume. And that's how sometimes people get into trouble at work. Your boss can say, oh, I want you to do this. You probably didn't get all the facts. You're not certain. But rather than go ask for confirmation, you assume, this is what they want me to do. And then you go ahead and do the thing you assumed they wanted you to do, which is totally opposite from what they wanted you to do. Now you can't undo it. So there is a problem. So let us stop making hasty assumptions. When you find your brain making the assumptions, just stop for a moment and think, okay, what is true? What do I know? What is the facts? And when you get the facts, you now make a logical conclusion. So make sure you're getting all the facts. Oh, she said she's not going to church today. Did you ask her? No. So how did you know she's not going to church today? Well, she didn't go last Sunday, so she's not going today. Very wrong. And you call this person, hi Jessica, are you going to church today? Oh yes, I'm almost done dressing. Oh, I was thinking you were not going to go. Why? Because you did not go last Sunday. And that was last Sunday. Last Sunday I couldn't because I was not feeling too well. That was why I didn't go. So make sure you're getting all the facts right. Don't assume. We always have the tendency, the temptation to always assume, to fill in the gaps. But you might be filling it in wrongly. So ask questions. There is this adage, whoever asks questions don't lose their way. So rather than get into a wrong conclusion that leads you down a road of no return, because sometimes, like I said, the actions that stems from the conclusion cannot be undone. Ask questions before you lose your way. Ask questions before you assume. Ask questions and get the facts. Ask questions. Ask questions. I cannot emphasize how important it is to ask questions. It helps you arrive at the right conclusion. And sometimes, yes, you might be scared. Sometimes you're afraid of having those difficult conversations, but ask them anyway. Sometimes you're afraid of what truth you will find. Ask it anyway. Rather than make up a story in your head, rather than live a fictional lie. So ask questions. So as we step into the new week, I want you to be bold, right? Ask questions. Don't assume. Don't assume. If you're going to jump into conclusion, ensure all your facts are right. If yes, you've caught your babe cheating, you've seen text messages from that guy, you have evidence she went to the video, you could now safely arrive at a conclusion. She is cheating on you. If yes, you've spoken to this person, they insulted you, they looked down on you, yes, you can now safely conclude they are mean. If you've asked your boss, this is what you wanted you to do, you will not make a mistake. You will not get into trouble because they will confirm it. So ensure you ask questions, okay? Don't jump into conclusions. I know we like to jump, but there are no gold medals for jumping into the wrong conclusions. to ensure we're getting our facts right, if you don't know, ask questions. The Bible says, my people perish because of ignorance. You don't know something. You don't want to know it. You just make up facts in your head. That's you being ignorant. But don't be ignorant. So I would also like you to share with me your stories. All the times you've jumped into the wrong conclusions. All the times you've assumed something in your head and it was false. The narrative were wrong. But how it felt for you when you found out that, oh, your assumption and the reality were two different things. So please leave your stories in the comment section. I like gossip a lot. I am so sorry. So share with me, not gossip. I love to learn from your stories. So share with me your experiences in the comment section. All the times your assumptions were wrong and how it turned out. And if you were able to rectify your wrong conclusions, I would like to know. So thank you so much for sticking with me on this episode, and I shall see you next week, vibers.